I'm so excited to join you today as part of the Practically Perfect PA Summit, sharing with you 5 easy ways that you can protect your vitality in your career and at work in general every day. I'm Rachael Bonetti. I'm the host of the podcast What It Means to Be Well, a regular Forbes Australia contributor, and the founder of the Elite EA Academy. Before all of this, though, I was a former career executive assistant for nearly 3 decades. So I promise you, I have walked a mile in your shoes. I supported CEOs in chairs in very high pressure, intense environments, fast-paced environments throughout my career, in a number of different countries, publicly listed and privately owned companies, all different sizes. So I have seen it all, or at least experienced it. And this has meant that I had to find ways to maintain being a high performer while protecting my well-being in my career. All of that intensity and pressure to navigate. And this is something that is so much easier said than done. And I know this because I'm a smart person and I still managed to burn out twice in my career. That's right, twice. Close to 20 years apart, but still. And it's why I'm really passionate about sharing this message with the assistant community, because it's one thing to do the work that I do mostly, which is helping assistants think and work strategically, add value and create impact. But being able to be a high performer in a healthy way is where the game changer actually is. That is where sustainable impact and change is created. And it's really important because this work is intense. I know I don't have to tell you that. The demands are intense. The pressure is intense. And in many ways, I believe the assistant community is not set up for success to thrive while doing this work. That's a very big topic in itself. In fact, if you want to hear more about why I believe that's the case, I would really encourage you to find episode 15 of my podcast and listen to that, because I share all of the ways that I think the assistant community is at a disservice out the gates. There's a very unique set of challenges that the assistant community has to face, and it doesn't create a level playing field, certainly not where well-being is concerned. And with the work you do, I know, because I've been there too, there is a pressure to do all the things. There's a pressure to be all the things. There's a pressure to be everywhere at once, but somehow at your desk at the same time, and smile while doing it all of the priorities are changing, while everyone else's emergencies become your problem to fix. Keep those 100 balls in the air at all times. Never let any of them drop, and never let anything slip through the cracks. And this can take its toll on even the most resilient people. That's why it's really important to find a way to navigate the needs and the pressure and the demands of the work, and that need to perform at least to, if not beyond, expectations, and not fall apart. And I got really curious about this in my career, about why it was so hard to maintain a sense of balance and well-being with this work. I got so curious about it through my recovery, about finding another way, a better way of being, a healthier way of being, that my recovery actually led to me becoming a certified wellbeing practitioner. So the tips that I'm going to share with you today aren't just practical tips that are tried, tested, and proven in my own career, but they're evidence-based too. So why don't we start there and dive into it? The first tip: I want to invite you to consider what your own definition of high performance is. So, have you ever considered your beliefs around what it means to be a high performer? That is, in the way that you have to show up to be regarded as a high performer and someone who's creating impact, making a difference, adding value. What do you think it takes to be successful in your profession with the work that you do? What do you think it means to be productive and efficient, Does it mean that you have to say yes to everything? Does it mean that you have to be all things to everyone? Does it mean you have to frequently work beyond your capacity and take on everything that other people don't have time to do because it's important? Does it mean you have to absorb the work that others are actually responsible for delivering because they haven't been able to execute on time and someone's going to be let down? At the cost of your own well-being, at the cost of you being under more pressure? Does it mean that you're not able to leave on time? Or perhaps not even call in sick when you're genuinely unwell? Does it mean that you can't take time off when you need to rest, when you're tired? Are you someone who hoards your personal time off? Or are you taking your little breaks throughout the year? Do you feel like you can't be a high performer if you're not constantly available for anybody who needs you? Inside hours and outside working hours. Do you feel like having boundaries means that you might not be a team player, regarded as a team player? And what about when you leave work for the day? Are you actually switching off completely? Are you able to let your out of office or your voicemail do their jobs when you're on leave? Are you tempted perhaps to dive into the inbox and reply to that thing really quickly rather than giving yourself that time out so that you can take the break that you really need? And if you're part-time, are you working unpaid on your days off just to keep up with the work, rather than your workplace finding a solution that allows you to work in a more sustainable and healthy way, one that you're actually being paid for? So I ask you all of these questions, and I wonder how many, if any, you can see of yourself in there, because I want you to consider your mindset, and I want you to think about the stories that you tell yourself about what it means to be valued and respected at work. And the stories that you tell yourself about what it means to rest. Are you someone who secretly judges people who take a day off when they're sick or rest when they're tired? Do you think that's lazy? Do you think high performance means putting all of your skin in the game and going all in and doing all the things all the time? So I really want you to dig deep and see what you recognize in the way you're showing up every day. Is it really healthy? Are your beliefs and your mindset really allowing you to truly thrive? And this is important to think about because change begins with radical self-responsibility. Where have you been conditioned to feel like you can never take your foot off the pedal? Where have you been conditioned as an admin professional, a job that means to be in service, to feel that to do a good job, you can never put your well-being first? So I'd ask you to zoom out, have a look at how you're approaching your work and your mindset around it, and see what shifts that you can create to start to change the way you regard what it means to be a high performer into one that is a more healthy view of high performance. And my second tip is around how to tune into your body, how to get to know it intimately. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird. Don't worry, we're not going where you might be thinking we are. I just want to encourage you to think about how often you're listening to what your body is trying to tell you. All of the little beige flags that pop up all the time that eventually become a big red stop sign. So if your digestive system is out of sorts, if your sleep is disrupted, if you frequently have a bit of a tight sensation in your chest, or you find yourself a little bit breathless when you're under pressure. Maybe you're often emotional after or during being under pressure. Maybe that moment that you're home alone, the door closes and that pressure valve finally releases, you find yourself crying more often than not. Do you find your heart fluttering or racing in the day? You might feel like you're surfing on adrenaline. Perhaps you might feel like your head is constantly spinning. Can you actually think straight? Is your focus laser sharp when you are under pressure and you have a lot on? Do you feel exhausted still after a night's sleep? Maybe your mood is low regularly. You find yourself more snappy or irritable. Or do you find yourself thinking these thoughts, I just need to get through today or tomorrow or this week or this project, whatever it is, then I'll be okay. These are all signals from your body that something is out of balance. And it's really important to listen to those signals because they give us clues about when we need to pull back. So learn to listen to these little flags and take them seriously. If they're showing up, it means that you need to make a change. It means that you need to slow down or possibly even stop. Our body is sending signals like this to us every single day. We need to learn to listen to them and to recognize our own limitations and do what our body needs us to do so that we can honestly thrive. Because ignoring red flags is really dangerous for our health long term, and you are worthy of being well. And I really want to hammer this point home that being in service doesn't mean that you must sacrifice your well-being to support the success of others. There is nothing noble in this. So I want to give you a challenge for the week ahead. Can you get curious about your red flags and listen to your body for the next week? Make a note, perhaps you do it in the notes app of your phone, and record what your body is telling you. All of the little signals that you get, your own particular quirks. Look back at it at the end of your week, what your body wants you to know. And then think about what's going to serve you best to thrive. Do you need to slow down or stop? And this brings me to my third tip. Understanding why we need to slow down to speed up. Now, I know that this might sound like a little bit of a contradiction, but it isn't, and this is why it works. When your body is flooded with adrenaline and cortisol, which is what happens when we're under pressure, we're pushed into fight or flight. And when this happens, the rational thinking part of our brain is not engaged. That's our prefrontal cortex. Sorry, I've got a cold. I am stumbling a little bit on my words today. Our prefrontal cortex. It finds it harder to do its job because it's competing with other functions and control centers and feedback loops in our brain. One of these being the amygdala part of our brain. Now, the amygdala is a little bit like a hypervigilant security guard in the brain. And it's got an important job. It gets us out of trouble quickly. It focuses our mind on danger. But it's not smart. And I say it's not smart because it doesn't understand the difference between a threat to our life and simply being under pressure and busy at work. So the amygdala is a little bit like, and we all have one of these friends, right? Someone we love to have around. We love them. They're good. They mean well. They're fun, but they make bad choices. They're the friend we don't go to for advice. We go to that friend for good times, right? So we want to get back to the prefrontal cortex, and slowing down is one of the ways to allow our nervous system to calm down. It allows us to move from dysregulation to regulation. And this is where we make much better decisions. Our attention and accuracy is laser sharp. We're more composed. We can cope with pressure. Being flooded with adrenaline and cortisol is really bad for us long term, and it's one of the root causes of burnout. It's not meant to be ever present in our body. We're meant to get a short, sharp dose of adrenaline when we're in trouble to get us out of a life-threatening situation, not to help us meet deadlines every day. So maybe take a small moment of reflection here. How often are you surging on adrenaline? How often are you surfing on adrenaline and relying on that to help you meet a deadline or to get through a moment of pressure? And this brings me to the fourth tip, how to slow down to speed up. So in a career where, let's be honest, we don't have the luxury of moving at a snail's pace. You're probably thinking, that's great, Rachel. You haven't seen my to-do list. You don't know what my boss is like. I know, I've been there too. I know this is a really hard thing to ask you to do. How on earth can we slow down but still keep up with all of those balls in the air and all of the pressure. And my advice around this is really simple, and it's something that worked for me. Create some bookmarks in your day. By bookmarks, I mean many small moments that act as a circuit breaker. I want you to recognize that we're not technology. Technology has been designed to create efficiency for us. The idea was that we'd get more hours in the day, not somehow be able to cram more work in and never take our foot off the pedal. Somewhere along the way, because the world has become so smart around us with technology and all of the things that are here to support us to do our best, we seem to have forgotten that we're not designed to be in go, go, go mode. You don't see any animal not stop to rest in nature at all. And we're no different. But just like a laptop, we have to restart as well so that we can optimally function. So, taking small breaks where you get up and leave your desk and your work for any length of time is a really important way to help you regain some calm. Now, you might be thinking, again, you haven't seen my to-do list. You don't know what's going on in our organization. That's impossible. Let me tell you, this was a habit that I built in to my working day when the pandemic first hit, while we were in the midst of a very serious customer crisis and on the front page of every newspaper in the country, when we were being dragged in front of Parliament to explain ourselves for this big corporate crisis. The world was burning down around us, so was my organisation, and we were being sold, unbeknownst to anybody other than myself, the CEO, company secretariat, and the CFO, we were being acquired in the background. I was able to make this happen. And what I noticed changed when I started doing this was I actually helped the CEO that I supported understand that he too needed to take a time out, get away from the desk, decompress for a moment from all of the pressure, all of the madness, so he could come back and be sharp and focused. So yes, a walk around the block is possible, whatever is going on in your day. I know that taking full breaks can be a really hard thing to do. So I'm not going to preach doing that, even though I do believe it, but taking small bookmarks will be just as effective, because I really need you to know this one thing. I want to reinforce that we cannot outsmart nature. Eventually, our poor working habits will catch up with us. And when they do, it is a very, very, very big job to unravel. Our body is not designed to function properly without natural daylight. That is a fact. So have a think about how many hours of natural daylight you're getting in your working day. Because when I was asked this question by my doctor when I did reach burnout, I assumed sitting next to my window was giving me natural light. Guess what? It's not. So she asked me what time I left the house every day for work. I said 6:30. What time were you at your desk? 6:45. Okay, so the sun's not up yet. Oh no, the sunrise is really pretty from my desk though. So what about lunch breaks? I have to work through. Okay. What time do you leave the office? 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 p.m., whatever it is. Again, no daylight. She was horrified. She's like, this is why you are in a world of trouble. Your sleep cycles can't function without natural light. Neither can your sex hormones. No hormones in your body. You cannot have healthy bones and you cannot have good levels of energy. We are just like plants. We need light to function every single day. Sitting next to a window doesn't count. So how can you create more moments of getting fresh air and natural light every day and give your body the gift of circuit breaking stress and giving it a moment to slow down and reset? And you can also build in a second kind of bookmark into your day, returning to your breath. Do this every time you make a cup of tea or go to the copier or transition to a new task or step up and away from your desk. Come back to your breath. And the reason this works is it's another tool for your nervous system to help it decompress. and calm down and get out of a state of fight or flight. So notice, when was the last time that you actually took a deep belly breath? We're breathing high and up in our chest, up here. And there was some research in 2008 from a Microsoft researcher who discovered what she coined email apnea. Every time she got a notification for an email, she found herself holding her breath. Now you notice in your day, once you step away from this summit, notice how many times this happens to you too. And this is putting our body in a really subtle way into fight or flight every day. So make conscious moments in your day where you take a slow, intentional inhale through the nose and a slow exhale through the nose to reduce the stress in your body. And I want to give you another fun fact, since I'm into them right now, stats. Up to between 75 and 90% of doctor visits have a stress-related component. Let that sink in. And that's not for any one geography. That is globally. And your last tip that I want to share is around your motivation for doing this. If feeling good in yourself isn't enough, if self-care and putting yourself first feels indulgent, or that you don't have time to make it a priority on your list, I want you to come back to your performance then and your reputation. I know you want to be respected at work, and I know you want to have credibility. And I know that you want to be valued for all of the talent and the passion and the effort that you bring to the table. And I also know that you want to be able to work in a strategic space, one that's really smart, one that makes a difference and adds value and creates true impact. And I know that you want to be good for culture. Here's the thing. You can't make great decisions about how others' time, our energy and focus is spent or prioritized. And you can't work to your full potential if you're not taking care of yourself first. Let that sink in too. You'll only be scratching the surface of the impact that you can create, and you'll only be limiting yourself by running yourself into the ground. You're no good to anybody if you are not well. So figure out, what's your motivation? What is your why for wanting to find a healthy high performance zone? And every time things feel really hard, I want you to come back to that. Let that be your compass anytime that you're tempted to deprioritize you. So to wrap up, here's what I would love you to do. I'm inviting you to set one commitment for yourself today, to set you up for success today and beyond. Perhaps a commitment for the entire new year ahead. What one thing will you commit to yourself to give you the best chance at thriving at work and in life? What are you going to prioritize for you? For your needs, whatever you need to be well and vital and to continue to show up for others. And as a parting thought, I want you to remember this. Burn it into your subconscious, put it on a post-it note where you'll see it every day, maybe your bathroom mirror, maybe you make it your iPhone or any phone wallpaper, or even your desktop wallpaper, tattoo it on your arm or your forehead, whatever works for you, no judgment at all. But you can't show up as your best self at work or in life without prioritizing your well-being. It is as simple as that. You deserve to be healthy and to thrive. So thank you very much for tuning into my session today. I really hope that there were some insights or tips that helped you feel like you can prioritize your well-being and understand how that is going to help you stay in a high performance zone. If you have any questions about anything you heard, or you want to share any aha moments or reflections with me, I absolutely love connecting with community. So please do get in touch. You can reach me at hello@rachelbonetti.com. Let me know what resonated for you or how I can help you with anything around career success, mindset, or well-being. You can find me on IG or on LinkedIn, where I share a lot of helpful tips, and also in my weekly newsletter, which you can find via my website. Thank you so much again for tuning into my session. I hope you have an amazing rest of the summit.